Hi Peter, my name's Gordon. I've abstracted yes to your question one, which, if extrapolated further, also goes some way towards answering questions two and three. So your question one: given the market economy requires consumption in order to maintain demand for human and further economic growth is needed, is there a structural incentive to reduce resource use, biodiversity loss, the global pollution footprint, and hence assist the ever-increasing need for improved ecological sustainability in the world today? I'm saying yes, there is a structural incentive to reduce resource use, limit biodiversity loss, lower the global pollution footprint, and improve ecological sustainability, and all using the current market economy and exchange of supplies to maintain the velocity of money. And that is the structural incentive for me. The structural incentive is the maintenance of the velocity of money, and it's easy prediction. It's easier to explain this by example, and I've used simple numbers to make the point a little easier. Anyway, so it has been noted that as New Zealand's use of solar power increases, New Zealand really needs to be looking at producing covers for their solar cells to prolong their lifetime, as the costs of the maintenance is projected to run into tens of millions over the next 10 years. New Zealand is meant to import $10 million worth of Barbie dolls over the next 10 years or so. It has been identified that the raw materials that would make up the $10 million worth of Barbie dolls would also be perfect for manufacturing the solar cell covers that New Zealand needs. Now, the way New Zealand will currently approach this is that those in charge of procuring the cell covers would directly deal with the raw materials producer. This would cause the Barbie doll supply chain to New Zealand to collapse, given the loss of revenue. And this instantly makes it hard to satisfy your list of requirements, as the economic effects of shutting down almost any supply chain are more than obvious. But what happens when New Zealand decides that in order to maintain the velocity of money, that New Zealand will purposefully pay the store that was projected to sell the Barbie doll instead of paying the raw materials producer directly? So New Zealand will only import the raw materials. Now, whilst this does mean that New Zealand will pay for Barbie dolls that they will never consume, what New Zealand wants are the raw materials, but they also want none of the economic disadvantages that would come with dealing direct with the raw materials producer. So when New Zealand decides to pay the store for what they have projected they were going to sell anyway, the supply chain in its entirety will remain unaffected, and the velocity of money will stay on track as has been predicted. Essentially, everyone in the supply chain will still be getting paid. It's quite possible that New Zealand would also end up paying some people for doing nothing. However, given the predicted dollar value that is to be saved on solar cell maintenance, why would New Zealand allow someone who's doing nothing to stop New Zealand from doing something that they can only do when that person is no longer doing that something that they used to do? It sounds counterintuitive, but if you think about it, yeah. So some of the outcomes of using the above simple approach would be that the final Barbie doll will not be created. Solar cells will have lower maintenance costs, where they were projected to be more expensive than a horde of Barbie dolls. The energy and effort that goes into a completed Barbie doll, and getting that completed Barbie doll from China to a shelf in New Zealand, will have been saved. New Zealand gets to prolong the life of its solar cells, meaning that they have to buy less solar cells to meet New Zealand's solar cell needs in the future. There will be less environmental destruction on account of using less energy and resources to complete a Barbie doll, etc. And of course, New Zealand will be going that little bit greener, that little bit quicker. Now, I believe above we have achieved the goal of finding a structural incentive that meets your original list of requirements. Merely keeping the velocity of money going, whether the final product is produced or not, is almost irrelevant. That money is spent is vital to the economy. That money is spent is vital to the economy. And that means that everyone in their supply chain needs to be paid. In regards to the extrapolation earlier on, consider junk mail and treat it similarly to the way that we have treated, um, or the approach that we have used for the Barbie dolls. And that stuff that the junk mail that ends up in your letterbox that essentially you're going to end up throwing in the bin. And if you do apply the Barbie doll approach, then in this case you wouldn't actually have to produce the final product at all, which means that the tree may, or the trees that have gone into making these crap things that end up in our mailbox may not need to be felled at all. It's worth thinking about. And if you don't fell the tree, then you can't make the product. So anyway, yes, I believe the above is a worthy yes, a logical worthy yes to your question one. Structural incentive is there is a structural incentive in the form of the velocity of money that will allow us to start ticking off the elements on your wish list. As a bonus, we also get to invest money into businesses without requiring the creation of new money. Consider that the entire Barbie doll supply chain will be paid as if the Barbie dolls had been produced. The businesses that were once involved in that supply chain, but aren't anymore, have essentially been given free money. Those businesses also get free time too. Now they can either give their employees more money, or give their employees more time, or both, or perhaps they'll look for new work, or invest in new technology. But essentially, that entire supply chain now has 10 years of guaranteed income that they never had before. And it has been created and it has been invested, you could argue, without the need for creating new money. So, in our example, New Zealand gets the raw materials it wants, and the velocity of money flows as it has been predicted to flow for the next 10 years under the current market economy. Everyone gets paid, no one's really going to care. And apart from those that didn't get a Barbie doll, which I'm sure they won't miss. But hey, those Barbie dolls were predicted to be produced and consumed anyway. Why not reallocate the resources with the blessing of the country and pay for the privilege? All very achievable, should any country wish to operate in such a way. Now, there's no ego here, just solutions that are open for discussion or even dismemberment. Please, if you have any questions or criticisms, leave them below. I'd obviously like to find out more in regards to how this solution is received by people in general. And for bonus points, use the same approach as the Barbie and the paper approaches that we've used above in those examples, but apply it at a country level. And consider that the 10-year government bond is a snapshot of our economic output in 10 years' time and is technically a prepaid financial plan. Give it some thought. Anyway, thank you for listening. All the best.